Five-tool players. That's probably a term you've heard a bunch of times in baseball before, but what does it actually mean? What are the five tools and how many big leaguers actually are five-tool players? What's up, everybody? I'm Jake Mintz with MLB on Fox, and today I'm going to take a little deep dive into the world of five-tool players. First, let's talk about what the five tools actually are. Hitting for average, hitting for power, defense, speed, and throwing arm. Very few players are actually above average or better at all of these tools in the big leagues. Baseball scouts usually use a scale from 20 to 80 with 3 standard deviations above and below the average to grade players out on these various tools. 20 is awful, 30 is bad, 40 is below average, 50 is average, 60 is above average, 70 is plus, and 80 is just 80. There are very few 80s at anything in all of the big leagues, and that's why it's so hard to be a five-tool player. Different people have different definitions of what that really means, but for me, I'm picky. To be a five-tool player, you've got to be plus at every single one of those five tools. So I technically have all 5 of those tools. They just grade out as 20s because I'm slow and I can't hit and my arm sucks. So let's take a look at some of the players that are really five-tool guys. Before we go any further, though, we got to talk about Shohei Ohtani, who kind of breaks the entire scale by being incredible on the mound and in the field. If Ohtani was a position player, he would probably be a five-tool guy in the outfield. His defense, we've never really seen it at the big league level, but with his foot speed and his baseball IQ and his athleticism, you got to think it would be fabulous. But he's like a 6-tool player. He's a superhero. He's a freak, whatever you want to call him, but he's just doesn't really fit into this list. But a guy who does, it's obvious, Mike Trout, number 1 on the list. Now, it hasn't always been this way. The best player on planet Earth for quite some time, has always been an amazing hitter, always had amazing power and foot speed, but he was at times meh in the outfield and didn't always have the best throwing arm. But before the 2019 season, he spent a lot of time in the winter improving his arm, and now it definitely grades out as plus, as a 60. He's probably a 7 hitter with 80 power, who is a 60 defender and center with a 60 arm and is like a 70 runner. He is a true five-tool player. The next shoe-in on our list is Mookie Betts, currently on the injured list, but he grades out as plus all across the board. Even though he's in right field, he's a plus defender over there, grading out as a 70. I would say that as a hitter, he's probably a 70, power a 60, maybe even a 70. The foot speed is plus as well, as is everything else. So Mookie, no doubt, five-tool guy. When you think of a player, that's what a five-tool player looks like. Next dude on the list is Byron Buxton, one of the freakiest athletes in all of sports, not just baseball. Buxton is a top of the charts speedster. Very few players in baseball are faster than he is. He's an elite defender in center field. He's got an incredible laser beam that he can throw guys out at home with all the time. At the plate, his raw power is easily plus. The one thing where he maybe isn't there is hitting for average. Now, the batting average in MLB over the last 4 seasons sits somewhere around 245 to 250. Buxton over that span is just above 260 with his batting average. So as far as I'm concerned, that is literally above average for the average. Does that make sense? 2 more guys on the list, and our next one is Dodgers shortstop Trea Turner. Turner, like Buxton, is one of the fastest players in the game. His speed grades out on the top of the charts. Power-wise is probably the only place where he's close, but last year he hit, I believe, 28 home runs on the season. This year he's on pace for around 20, maybe a little over that. He's got the best average in baseball over the last couple years. And while his arm isn't a laser beam, he can make a lot of different throws from a lot of different positions. So overall, I would say that he's got a 6 glove, a 6 arm, 8 speed, 6 power, and a 8 bat, maybe a 7 bat. And the last guy on our list for right now is rookie phenom Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. He's only been in the big leagues for a couple months, but he's already proven himself to be a true five-tool superstar. He's hitting over 260 at the plate right now. His power is really manifested in the early going with 11 home runs. He's got an outstanding raw throwing arm from the outfield, and his defense in center has been great thanks to his above average foot speed. Usually you don't see guys in their rookie years showing all 5 tools in the big leagues immediately. Actually, usually takes some time for that to happen, but Julio has been incredible from the jump. So that's what it means to be a 5-tool player. It's a little complicated, but the next time you hear that phrase tossed around on the broadcast, you'll know that it's actually way fewer guys than you really think. I'm Jake Mintz. Make sure you read my article on this on MLB on Fox for everything about 5-tool players and everything there is about baseball. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day.